May 20th, 2nd Chronicles 25 and 35. It's right there in front of me. And 36. 2nd Chronicles 35. And Yoshiyahu performed a Passover to Yah in Jerusalem, and he slew the Passover on the 14th day of the first new moon. And he set the priests in their duties, and strengthened them for the service of the house of Yah. And he said to the Levites, who were teaching all Israel, who were set apart to Yah, put the set-apart ark in the house which Solomon, son of David, sovereign of Israel, built. It is no longer to be a burden on your shoulders. Now serve Yah your Elohim, and his people Israel. And prepare by the fathers' houses, according to your divisions, by the writing of David, sovereign of Israel, and by the writing of Solomon his son. And stand in the set-apart place by the divisions of the fathers' houses of your brothers, the lay people, and the portion of the father's house of the Levites. And slay the Passover, and set yourselves apart, and prepare for your brothers to do according to the word of Yah by the hand of Moses. And Yoshiyahu gave the lay people lambs and young goats from the flock, all for Pashim, for everyone present, to the number of 30,000, and 3,000 cattle. These were from the sovereign's possessions. And his leaders contributed a voluntary offering to the people, to the priests, and to the Levites. Hilkiah and Zechariah and Yael, leaders of the house of Elohim, gave to the priests for the Pasaim 2,600 and 300 cattle. And Conanyahu, his brothers, Shemayahu and Nethanel, and Hashabyahu, and Yael, and Yoazbad, chiefs of the Levites, gave to the Levites for Pashaim 5,500 cattle. And the service was prepared, and the priests stood in their places, and the Levites in their divisions, according to the command of the sovereign. And they removed the ascending offerings to give them to the divisions of the fathers' houses of the lay people, to bring to Yah, as it is written in the book of Moses, and the same with the cattle. And they roasted the Passover with fire according to the right ruling. And they boiled the set-apart offerings in pots, and in cauldrons, and in bowls, and brought them speedily to all the lay people. And afterward they prepared for themselves, and for the priests, because the priests, the sons of Aaron, were offering ascending offerings and fat until night. So the Levites prepared for themselves and for the priests, the sons of Aaron. And the singers, the sons of Asaph, were in their places, according to the command of David, and Asaph, Heman and Yeduthun, the seer of the sovereign. And the gatekeepers at each gate did not have to leave their position, because their brothers the Levites prepared for them. And all the service of Yah was prepared that day, to perform the Passover, and to offer ascending offerings on the slaughter place of Yah, according to the command of sovereign Yoshiyahu. And the children of Israel who were present performed the Passover at that time, and the festival of Matzot, unleavened bread, for 7 days. There had not been a Passover performed in Israel like it since the days of Samuel the prophet, and none of the sovereigns of Israel had performed such a Passover as Yoshiyahu performed, with the priests and the Levites and all Judah and Israel who were present, and the inhabitants of Jerusalem. In the 18th year of the reign of Yoshiyahu, this Passover was performed. After all this, when Yoshiyahu had prepared the house, Necho, sovereign of Egypt, came up to fight against Carchemish by the Euphrates, and Yoshiyahu went out against him. He sent messengers to him, saying, "What have I to do with you, sovereign of Judah? I am not coming against you this day, but against the house with which I am fighting, for Elohim commanded me to make haste. Leave Elohim alone, who is with me, lest he destroy you." However, Yoshiyahu would not turn his face from him, but disguised himself to fight against him, and did not listen to the words of Necho from the mouth of Elohim, and came to the valley, and came to fight in the valley of Megiddo. And the archers shot at sovereign Yoshiahu. And the sovereign said to his servants, "Take me away, for I am severely wounded." And his servants took him out of that chariot and put him in the second chariot that he had. And they brought him to Jerusalem. And he died, and was buried in one of the burial sites of his fathers. And all Judah and Jerusalem were mourning for Yoshiahu. And Yirmiyahu lamented for Yoshiahu, and to this day all the singing men and all the singing women speak of Yoshiahu in their lamentations, and made it a law in Israel, and see, they are written in the laments. And the rest of the acts of Yoshiahu and his loving commitment, according to what was written in the Torah of Yah, and his acts from the first to the last, see, they are written in the book of the sovereigns of Israel and Judah. 2 Chronicles 36. And the people of the land took Jehoahaz, son of Yoshiahu, and set him up to reign in his father's place. Jehoahaz was 23 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 3 new moons in Jerusalem. And the sovereign of Egypt turned him aside in Jerusalem, and imposed on the land a levy of 100 talents of silver and a talent of gold. And the sovereign of Egypt made his brother Eliakim sovereign over Judah and Jerusalem, and changed his name to Jehoiakim. And Necho took Joaz his brother, and brought him to Egypt. And Jehoiakim was 25 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem, and he did evil in the eyes of Yah his Elohim. Nebuchadnezzar, sovereign of Babel, came up against him, and bound him in bronze shackles, and to take him away to Babel. And Nebuchadnezzar brought some of the utensils from the house of Yah to Babel, and put them in his temple, Hekel, his temple, at Babel. And the rest of the acts of Jehoiakim, the abominations which he did, and what was found against him, see, they are written in the book of the sovereigns of Israel and Judah. Then Jehoiakim, his son, reigned in his place. Jehoiakim was 8 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned in Jerusalem 3 new moons and 10 days. And he did evil in the eyes of Yah. And at the turn of the year, sovereign Nebuchadnezzar sent and brought him to Babel, with the valuable utensils from the house of Yah, and made Tzidkiyahu, Jehoiakim's brother, sovereign over Judah and Jerusalem. And Tzidkiyahu was 21 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem. And he did evil in the eyes of Yah his Elohim. He did not humble himself before Yirmiyahu, the prophet, Jeremiah, who spoke from the mouth of Yah. And he also rebelled against sovereign Nebuchadnezzar, who had made him swear by Elohim. But he stiffened his neck and hardened his heart against turning to Yah, Elohim of Israel. Also, all the heads of the priests and the people trespassed more and more, according to all the abominations of the nations. And they defiled the house of Yah, which he had set apart in Jerusalem. And Yah, Elohim of their fathers, sent to them by his messengers, rising up early and sending them, for he had compassion on his people and on his dwelling place. But they were mocking the messengers of Elohim, and despising his words, and scoffing at his prophets, until the wrath of Yah arose against his people, until there was no healing. Therefore he brought against them the sovereign of the Kasdim, and he killed their young men with the sword in the house of their set-apart place, and had no compassion on young man or maiden, on the aged or the weak. He gave all into his hand. And all the utensils from the house of Elohim, great and small, and the treasures of the house of Yah, and the treasures of the sovereign and his leaders, all these he brought to Babel. And they burned the house of Elohim, and broke down the wall of Jerusalem, and burned all its palaces with fire, and destroyed all its valuable utensils. And those who escaped from the sword he exiled to Babel, where they became servants to him and his sons until the reign of Persia, in order to fill the word by the mouth of Jeremiah, until the land had enjoyed her Sabbaths. As long as she lay waste, she kept Sabbath, until 70 years were completed. In the first year of Koresh, sovereign of Persia, in order to accomplish the word of Yah by the mouth of Jeremiah, Yah stirred up the spirit of Koresh, sovereign of Persia, so that he called out in all his reign, and also put it in writing, saying, Thus says Koresh, sovereign of Persia, Yah, Elohim of the heavens, has given me all the reins of the earth, and he has commanded me to build him a house in Jerusalem, which is in Judah. Whoever among you of all his people, Yah his Elohim, be with him, and let him go up.